OpenAI's operator, basically going on there and searching the web and also performing tasks for you. So OpenAI, like I said, they're continuing to kind of cook with these things, and I think it's because the whole DeepSeek thing is really driving competition right now for everybody. So
OpenAI comes up a lot because, like DJ said, they're cooking right now. They're killing the game, right? What's up? What's up? What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of Autonomous Income. I'm your co-host, Deuce Noble.
I'm your co-host, DJ. What's going on today, Deuce?
Hey, DJ, you know what? We got a couple of things we've been seeing out here in the news lately with a lot of AI and tech things and cool things for some entrepreneurs. So I think we're going to give the people a few little updates on what we saw so far. I think one of the things I want to bring to the table is Replit's new mobile app. Replit is focusing on enabling non-coders to use AI tools to build software for themselves. So they've released a mobile app, or they call it their Replit agent, that helps you build mobile apps for the non-coder, right? So that's one thing I want to talk about. What you got on your slate, DJ?
Man, OpenAI is still cooking, so they released their deep research agent. Everybody loves to use the word agent now. So their deep research agent, which is really, a lot of good reviews that are coming out about it. People that have used it, made a little bit of waves because Google, if those who don't know, they have their deep research, I guess, agent. I'm not sure if they're calling it agent, but they definitely have a deep research feature, part of their Gemini suite of models. And it's from a 1.5 model, but, so they had some of the Gemini, I guess, people that work at Google, and they were putting memes out like, oh, I wonder where they got that idea. They were just like saying a lot of that. So it was pretty funny there for a little while. But with OpenAI, like with how they implemented this one, I mean, it looks really solid. And it's just another reason why people might actually want to shell out that $200 a month to go pro, man. I've seen a lot of people, they folded. They have folded.
Hey, OpenAI is pushing it hard. They're
Yes.
selling a hard case for that
Yep.
pro
So
membership.
between that and then also, Perplexity does, I think what we'll probably do is show everybody and go OpenAI's, their deep research, and then also Google's deep research. And then with Perplexity, it does like research with their pro, and then you can select either the DeepSeek R1 model, or you can have a OpenAI, the O3 mini, basically have those and kind of have it do some research or whatnot with Perplexity. But I've been using that a lot, like via DeepSeek R1, via Perplexity a lot, with some great results, man. So we'll get into a lot of that. But yeah, there's just a lot to cover because every day, somebody's releasing.
Every day is something new. Always, this industry moves really, really quick, but that's okay. We want to highlight some of the areas to our listeners and our viewers and our subscribers, just to keep them abreast a little bit on some of the things that's been dropping lately. So yeah, let's go ahead and start unpacking what OpenAI has been doing with their deep research.
With the deep research, that has been, it's been pretty good. So it's basically saying like you'll have a team of PhDs or like a PhD agents, that'll go and scour the internet. So if you are a YouTuber or an entrepreneur and you're trying to explore something, I've seen real estate use cases where if you're trying to do some market research, like this tool will essentially scour the internet. And as you can see here, like you activate deep research, you ask it a query, it can be very specific. It'll go and scour, like it can take minutes. We're not talking about like 5 minutes, like they're saying tens of minutes, right? So I've seen some that are 10, 15 minutes, maybe even 20 minutes. It's deep research, and it searches a lot of different references, and of course it cites all of that. So it has all that available, and it's very, very similar to, and like, I was saying before with Google, with their Gemini deep research, very similar to that. But I would say from what I've seen, watching both, and I've used deep research with Gemini extensively, like a lot of times, but from what I've seen, OpenAI's, I guess it comes back with a lot more context and a lot, it's a lot longer responses that you'll get from OpenAI's deep research. It just depends on, what you prefer.
Well, let me ask you this. In the grand scheme of things, right? 15 minutes, it seems like a long time to get back, but in the grand scheme of things, like you said, when you do research without these tools, it's going to take a lot longer than
you
those
went to
15
graduate
minutes.
school. But you remember college in general. It takes you a while.
Right, man, having to cite your sources. So, the cool thing of this, obviously, it brings the sources all together. It tells you what to do. But it all, like you said, puts it in a way that the context is very rich, right? Like you said, compared to the Google's deep research. And I think that's really where OpenAI is shining, getting those things together and putting it in a way that can be read very well, right?
Yeah, I think
cool.
I'm just excited because honestly, one, I always say this, man, when I was in college and in school, I wish they had tools like this to kind of help you out with your research project.
Man, I'm saying though, I'm just saying, where was this a couple years ago when I was in school?
Yeah, man. I guess we're gonna
Man,
turn into some boomers
I've
real
been
quick, man.
killing
Like,
it.
back in my day, we didn't have this AI, you know what I mean, to use to help us out with assignments and whatnot.
Man, listen, it would take me hours to do research, and not just research, but like just to make sure I had things and like, oh, let me go down this panel, let me make sure there's look. Now look, you telling me these kids out here just typing a couple of words and getting a whole research prompt that
I'm
they
saying,
need
I
in
mean, and so
15
I do like
minutes?
the fact that they say the ability to synthesize knowledge is a prerequisite for creating new knowledge because once you're able to do this deep research and it gets that contextual awareness and it kind of understands what's going on, then, it can start tying the dots together, connecting the dots rather, and, come up with new knowledge. And I think that's really at the point where we'll see that just explosion of intelligence explosion. I mean, yeah, I mean,
An
so
explosion of
really
creative
intelligence,
thoughts.
that, I think just, that we won't definitely be used to. I mean, it'll scale pretty quickly from what it all seems like. I'm just excited as a product perspective. I think this is good for entrepreneurs, business owners. If you are trying to get into market research, or if you're trying to, like I was saying before, real estate, like if you're going to do competitive analysis, or if you want to do market research specifically on different types of properties or whatnot, or even social media influencers, like doing research on content is really good right now. And you can do your own traditional stuff, but a lot of this is going to save a lot of time for individuals.
That you mentioned that in general, market
Right.
research is good starting any type of business, especially when you're looking to, figure out your own niche and lane. And when there's multiple people in there, market research is a very, very important, no matter what
Right.
you're doing, whether you're, like you said, selling homes, doing some software development, you are making t-shirts, right? You're speaking, you're out here. You have to, if you want to make yourself a viable business and viable and have healthy competition, that market research is important. And I think that's going to be one of the things that this tool can be really, really used for, especially for, people like us and just business owners and entrepreneurs themselves, right? Whether you're a hairstylist, right? That's still important to do market research, figure out, hey, how do I set my prices? Like, what's the best way to get new clients and customers, right? Market research is vital when it's open, when you're starting a new business or when you have a
Yeah, I
business
mean,
and
it's
you need to
continuous, right? I
make the
mean, market
business grow.
research is theoretically something you should, not even theoretically, it's something you should always do in practice, right? I mean, you're always doing like SWOT analysis and just like some other things to basically just understand what's going on out there, different types of analysis. But I mean, like, I'm excited about it because I think with these tools, it really does free up time. And I'm big on that, like having us able to, like, if we want to research something that we're getting into and kind of having it synthesize that data and, kind of aggregate, pull that data in for you, I'm excited about that. So, that is another compelling reason why. And Deuce, what do you think? Are you going to shell out that $200? Because now, like I was saying before, now you have more usage of Sora. So you can use Sora a lot more. You can also use the deep research agent. And then on top of that, you have the operator that you can start playing around with. It's still in preview mode. But as we talked about on one of our previous episodes, OpenAI's operator, basically going on there and searching the web and also performing tasks for you. So OpenAI, like I said, they're continuing to kind of cook with these things, and I think it's because the whole DeepSeek thing is really driving competition right now for everybody. So we talked about Alibaba, we talked about there's somebody else that released a new model as well that's supposedly pretty good. I haven't seen the benchmarks on that one in particular, but I'll think of it. I'll drop it below in the comments. But either way, there's just a lot of competition. So
My thing is let them cook. OpenAI is cooking. I'm saying they're driving a hard bargain for, making it a good case for wanting to
for
spend
sure.
that pro $200 a month. And like I said, I like it. Right? It's very, 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 very telling as far as like what you can really accomplish with this. Because if you look at it in the grand scheme of things, right? Like, okay, you look at it as an investment. If I, or I invest this, but I need to get something out of it, right? Making sure, and I think you can, and I think people are starting to do that. So it's growing on me, the idea, right? But I think they're trying to get very, very exclusive with a lot of their new
Yeah.
technology or a lot of new models that they're dropping, right? But also on the flip side of that, I think they're trying to get their get back. They realize how much that money they have spent creating some of these things, especially with DeepSeek dropping their R1 model and how much they've said. So I think this is OpenAI getting their lick back, trying to like, you know what, we need to recoup some of that money we spent, some of the
Well, I
billions
mean,
of
that's
dollars, billions that we
business
just spent
101, man.
on
If the value's there,
creating
then
some of these
you definitely
models.
want charge for the value and everything. And I think that they really feel confident with probably what they have on their roadmap, even with the items that they have right now, but definitely what they have on their roadmap. That they feel that they can justify that cost and everything. So it's exciting. I would suggest for the entrepreneurs that are out there, definitely if you do a lot of research or if you're getting into a startup, it's something to consider. It depends on your budget as well. I like to be scrappy. Like if you're starting something new, trying out a concept and whatnot. But for real estate, I would say definitely if you're investors, if you're looking at different properties and everything, I definitely would suggest
Man,
yeah.
yeah, nah,
And you can
there's
check out, like I
for
said,
real estate investors,
Google's
I absolutely
research.
would.
Their plan I think is only $20 a month if I'm not mistaken, and they have the deep research agent. I'll just go back again and tell you that the difference is like Google's is it can do deep research. I've had some where it searched over 100 websites and it pulls it all together, but the output lengthy is what I've seen from some of the outputs that you'll get with OpenAI's deep research model, and that's that
Mm.
you might want it shortened, right? You may want it more abbreviated. You may not want pages and pages and all those things. So it really just depends on your use case and what you're used to. But I would definitely go look if you don't want to shell out that kind of cash. Look what's out there online. See what the kind of responses that people are getting back with some of their questions. There's a lot of examples out of there already, and then kind of make that.
But even as always, some of these tools we try to kind of bring to the forefront so that you guys can see, like, hey, if you want to shell out that premium, that top dollar
Pro.
for ChatGPT and their pro plan, by all means, go right ahead, right? But as always, one of the things we like to preach is, do what works best for you. We try to talk about a lot of different tools that are out there, a lot of different tools that can be useful for, whatever business that you guys may be opening or starting, right? And I think that's support. OpenAI comes up a lot because, like DJ said, they're cooking right now. They're killing the game, right? They're over here looking like what team was out here killing it back in the day, right? The OpenAI has really stepped the game up. They leveled the playing field along with DeepSeek, coming out with their R1 model. OpenAI has still been coming out here
You probably talking about my
consistently
Cowboys.
putting
That's what
up
you're probably talking
numbers,
about. Oh, yeah. I
right?
mean, it's way back.
Unless we talk about back in
You're right.
the
Whoa, whoa,
back in
whoa,
them
whoa, whoa.
back in them
Don't come for
1900s.
us
I
like
don't
that.
know.
Well, the 80s is
Look,
crazy.
back
The
in the
80s is
80s, you know what I'm
absolutely crazy.
saying? Look,
All right,
back when Michael Irvin
enough of
was,
that. Hey,
back
our
there
day,
doing
next year's
something.
our year, like always. Next year's our year. We going to the ship. But yeah,
Like
um,
always, man. You know what? But on to the next though, because
yeah,
I can't delve into
we're not
this
getting into sports. But yeah, so
kind of talk.
all of the things aside is I think this is really good for you to try out. Like I said, entrepreneurs of different types, if you're going to be researching different niches, content creators and everything like that, kind of what's hot right now, helping it kind of aggregate that information, pull that in and helping you out with the research. And of course you can do your own research as well. But I just think tools like this is really going to help move the needle. If you're going to pay this money, I would honestly suggest, if you're starting out, there's a lot of automation tools that you can get into, like N8N, which we'll be showing off here on the channel and showing individuals how to use that. Of course, Zapier has agents as well. And then Relevance AI are some tools that I think a lot of people can leverage as they're starting business to kind of help them out with some research as well. And they have more agentic workflows with automations that'll kind of help free up time. So that way you can focus on growing and scaling your business, dealing with clients and whatnot. It helps out a lot of automation with those. But we'll talk more into that. But now I guess, Deuce, we can talk about.
As far as this transition, like a lot of things going forward is really going to benefit people. And I actually had a friend I was talking with. They're like, "Hey, you make apps, right? Like, how can I start making my own apps?" I'm like, I mean, do you want to get one made or you want to learn how to code, right? But to that point, Replit is a company, AI company. They have dropped their own mobile app where you can learn how to code yourself and make your own mobile apps if you want to, right? So Replit, they are really wanting to focus on enabling non-coders. So anyone who doesn't know how to code, they want to enable those non-coders to use AI tools to build software themselves. In my opinion, I think it's kind of cool because by trade, I am a developer and software engineer. So I think these type of tools are really cool because, I mean, it may not be perfect and it may still be in an early stage, but it really gives people kind of an insight to say, hey, you know what? I really want to learn how to make my own app or I don't have the budget to pay someone to build an app for me because I can tell you right now, building an app versus building a website, the budget is vastly different, right? And I think Replit, basically their whole model is code anything, anywhere, right? So their mobile app, it's out right now in the App Store. I guess what it says, over 30 million creators already making apps with it. I don't know what kind of apps they're making. I might go try it out myself, see what I can spin up real quick. You know what I'm saying? Look, spin something up real quick. Apps,
Let's
look,
do
put
it,
some
man.
ads
Let's do
on
it. I
it.
got the
Just put them in
artwork
the
for you.
App Store, you
I'll do
know?
the UX design for you.
Right. So essentially, Replit has their own agent. It's advanced AI assistant. You know, now we're in this agentic era of AI, and it helps users create their apps using natural language prompts. So you just have a prompt, you talk to it, tell it what you want it to do, and it'll build it out for you. So zero setup, deployment,
So do
instant
you
project
think though,
hosting, all of
Deuce,
that.
as a
You
developer,
know,
right?
I
As a,
haven't played with it myself,
you've been
but
in
I'm
software development for a long time and product management, respectively. But is this something that, like, are they answering a question that people have been asking for? Like, is this something that you want to spin up something on an app, or do? Because most of the developers that I've always worked with, they had their monitor set up. They had one kind of set up, vertically, in that way, they could see basically the whole code base and they can kind of see everything, and they were able to scroll. They were doing that. How is this going to transfer over to a mobile platform? Like, what is your thoughts on that?
so, you know, I am still a little skeptical on that part, right? Because a true mobile development, mobile developer they really do love getting into
Yeah.
kind of the weeds of building out certain features. And my thing is, I think this might be more of a kind of a simple thing. Some of those complex apps, I don't know if you're going to be able to use with this or create with Replit, right? And I think that the impact that it's going to have on traditional software development over time, I think it'll be something as an aid. I can't really speak too much on it. I might check it out this weekend
Yeah,
and just
check it
kind
out and
of,
bring it back,
build
man, and see
something
see what
simple
you
with
think
it,
about
right?
it.
But
Pressure test it a
I
little bit.
think
Maybe they have
where I think it really could shine at is really
yeah.
kind of helping with that coding education and practice, because I feel like, once you start, putting in those natural prompts, it's going to get in there. You can kind of get into the weeds and, learn how to do things, right? I think that's really
hmm
the selling point for Replit, in my opinion, but also just expanding the reach of coding, right? I think that's one of their goals. Underserved communities. This is really going to help touch
Yeah.
people in a lot of grassroots areas, right? And this is kind of some of the work I really am passionate about. This reaches people who may not see this in underserved communities, right? Urban communities, they may not be able to see things like how to build an app, right? And I think that's important. And I think if Replit it really focuses on that, the non-traditional coders, this really
Yeah.
could bring them over to the side of learning how to code, right? But ultimately, I'm not too worried about the side of this kind of taking over the jobs of software developers, because that I don't think would necessarily be the case. But obviously, you never know. But I mean, that's just my opinion. However, like I said, if you are a business owner or an entrepreneur or just someone that wants to dabble in mobile apps, this is something that I encourage you guys to check out. If you want to make a simple app really quick, this might be your ticket, right? Your ticket. And even if you want to pay for, the membership, I promise you that is going to be way cheaper than paying
Well, I mean, right now you have
a
options of what,
firm or
like Upwork and
somebody.
Fiverr. They have those options. Yeah,
I
those
mean,
can be
yeah,
pricey
but
as
even
well.
still, those can be
So I think what I'm saying
those
is,
can be
I think that
pretty
might
steep.
impact
You know
the
what I'm saying?
Fiverr or the upstart people. Like, basically, if you do have somebody that's kind of curious and knows enough to be dangerous, then they may use that. Or people
However,
from
you
Upwork or
know,
from Fiverr will be leveraging this. So like,
right. Shameless plug though. If y'all do want an app built and y'all have budget for it, come holla at me. I might be able to work something out with you. Look. If you subscribe to the channel, I'll give you a little subscription discount. You know what I'm saying? Look, if you really got the budget,
yeah,
and you really want something, look, come holla
I
at your
mean, yeah, it
boy.
makes sense. Like they're and honestly, I mean, it's as well with the
But
automations that we're talking about. Deuce and I do set up automations for different companies and whatnot, and we do work on that with our product management background and software development background. So yeah, I mean, honestly, if like anybody in the comments, like if you're looking at setting up some automation for yourselves, but definitely for me, I just take pleasure in just like letting people know what's available, what's out there. Because like you said, Deuce, before, like not a lot of people know about these tools that they can kind of leverage and take advantage of to help scale their business. And Replit seems to really have a passion for, I guess, making somebody who wouldn't typically, go like down a STEM path, maybe opening it up for them to, take out some of the complexity too. And I think a lot of these AI platforms, the problem that they're trying to solve is those people that are kind of curious, like art. When it started out, like some people are not really artists, right? But then you can prompt it and you learn how to prompt, and then you create some kind of art. But people feel differently about that. But yeah, I think, it's just interesting how this is all opening up.
And overall, I think this really, like I said, it really reshapes the accessibility and how portable
Yeah.
that you can make software development. The only thing, another issue I think we could run into is like when you get to like some really, really complex software development issues, the computability of a phone, running this type of software, the processing system on phones are not going to be able to handle like some
Yeah.
really heavy lifting of some things, right? Especially when you're developing it, right? Running the app on your phone is fine, but when you're actually developing something, it really needs a little bit more compute power that you may not be able to pack into phones. We are in a new age where these phones are more powerful than they were 5,
Yeah.
10, even, yeah, 2 years ago, right? However, it'll be interesting to see how Replit tackles those problems. In my opinion, I think it's going to be interesting to see how that works.
I wonder if it's going to be local compute though. If it's probably going to be cloud compute though, mainly, right? I'm assuming.
But even still, that's still like, well, for example, just building, if you were, let's say you had a code
Yeah.
base and you wanted to run it and it has to build the code base, that takes a lot of compute power, right? For example, at work, when we would, build our code bases, we had to have specific machines, that were a little more higher end
Yeah.
to run these at a faster pace for us, right? Because building code takes a while. I know you may have seen memes and comics, years ago. It was like, oh, what do software developers do every time? They're always playing games or shooting Nerf guns because we're waiting for the code base to build. And look, I remember at one time the code base would take, at least a minimum 10 minutes just to build. There's nothing you can do. It's like, I'm just waiting for this to build just to check my two little changes, right? But I say that to say like it'd be interesting to
Yeah.
see how that compute power can be translated into building the app completely on your mobile phone. So your phone might overheat a little bit, but it might
We're gonna
it
see.
might
I mean,
work
like I said,
out.
I think it's just cool. There's a lot of things that we can bring to you, but we definitely just wanted to kind of just touch on those things. And it sounds like Deuce is gonna play around with that and maybe let us know how he is. I might mess around and, like I said last week, I may mess around and get that OpenAI Pro plan because I need to play. I need to check out Operator for myself. Like I see a
Maybe.
lot of people, and I have friends that have used it and everything like that, and they tell me about it. But for me, I was just like, I was kind of weighing those options because I subscribe to like a lot of different, platforms to kind of play around with them, keep up with them, and everything like that, from image generators all the way to like, the different foundational models and all of those things, automation, tools and all those. But I really think that they're packaging it well all together, good, better, and different. I think that they have like a complete product that's pretty good and worth it. So, but no slight to Google's deep research because I do use that and I like that a lot. And their Gemini models have been super
Hey,
performant. Still on, like I said, the AI battleground. I think the top 2 or 3 models are all Google based Gemini models with their 2.0 Flash and some other things like that. So definitely they're still in it. They're definitely still in it.
they're still in it, and I think there's gonna be more to come. I'm excited to see what this landscape unfolds to be. We're still early in 2025, and I think that the more
Every day.
it's like something new every day, and I'm ready to see what it's like. So, if y'all ready to see what more to come, just make sure you guys click that share or subscribe button and
We'll keep y'all
follow us for
posted.
more updates. We'll keep y'all
See y'all next
posted.
week. Peace.